This is Death or Prison, brought to you by leanonmeusa.org. The men you are about to hear have spent more than 50 years in prison. We bring you stories of hope and encouragement.
Hello and welcome to the Death or Prison podcast brought to you by leanonmeusa.org. I am Johnny Branham. To my right, Mr. Laz Lopez, and to my left, Mr. Richard DeLisi. I am Johnny Branham, and we've been continuing a conversation with Richard DeLisi, and we've gone through your life growing up in Brooklyn, New York, your family, and the things that you were involved in when you were a teenager, involved in cannabis, and then leading you to drug smuggle in Jamaica. From there, deciding that you wanted to create a quicker way to smuggle drugs, which was through planes, which ultimately led you from getting out. You were arrested, but you got out, started an auto shop, wanted to do the right thing, but then got ensnared again by an old friend that introduced you to another lick, so to speak, which led to a 98-year sentence in the Florida Department of Corrections. And so we pick up right where you said that you were on this bus, all of these thoughts were going through your mind, and you're on your way to Florida State Prison. And I know that Laz has a personal relationship with you because you were at one of those prisons, Laz, with Richard. And I kind of want you to ask some of those questions to Richard about what was going on during that time.
Yes, because the thing is, you're listening, and obviously he is out now, and we see, the story that's evolving in front of you. But you have to understand, like, when I got sentenced, it was, 12 years. It was kind of tough. So, Richard, on that bus ride, I mean, your mind, what's going through your mind? What are you thinking? You just got sentenced. This is actually the first time you're going to do some real time. I had suicidal thoughts, I got to tell you. I had all types of stuff in my mind. How about yourself?
I thought of that. I thought of it. I said, if I can't get this off my back, why stay here and aggravate myself all these years? But luckily, like I told you, God came into my life and he changed. He changed a lot of things, the way I thought and the way I got involved in wonderful things in the prison system. As soon as I got there, I didn't hesitate. I just started doing things to better myself. I got into the Department of Corrections without any education, and I taught myself how to read and write in there. And as soon as I did that, I wanted to help other people doing it. And that's what wound up happening. I wound up going to the supervisor of the school, and I told him, I taught myself how to read and write, and a lot of people having the same kind of problem. They're dyslexic, and they have phonics problems and all kinds of stuff with reading and writing, and I think I got a way of teaching them. And they wound up giving me a classroom at Belgrade for a few years, and I had, the chapel thing going on 24/7. Whenever I wasn't in the school, I was at the chapel.
Did you ever get to get your GED?
No, I never got the GED. I figured it's a little too late for all that, I mean, as long as I can pick up a magazine and read it, a newspaper, or pay a bill or something, that's, that's something. This stuff was all new to me.
So you're giving back by teaching others and helping others as well. And when I was incarcerated, I would look up to gentlemen like you because you've been doing a long time. You're like old school. They would say OG, but I like to say the overcomer that you are. You had a lot of people looking up to you. You were helping them, guiding them. What other programs were you involved in?
I was involved in programs like anti-gang programs, programs, anti-drugs, anything that was negative. I was always trying to make something positive out of it while I was in there. People used to tell me how slow their time was going. My time, I'll tell you what, the 32 years, it went
quick.
It went quick.
While incarcerated, you had more like a personal impact with God. How did that happen? How did that occur?
It happened with the Chiros.
With the Chiros, okay.
Yeah. The Chiros got me.
Okay.
Well, they didn't get me. They just leaded me in the right direction.
You did the 4-day retreat.
Right. And after that, I was stuck on the Chiros.
Yeah.
I mean, they had good food, but the best food was the food that you got in your heart and
That
your
is
soul.
correct.
You know,
That is correct.
it was crazy. You know, I really and if you recall, I don't know if you remember, they used to stick me, you know where, right?
What's that?
In the prayer room.
In the prayer room. So
'Cause
there's in the Kairos, there's a lot of gentlemen that are sincere. They actually share the agape love that God, you know, that unmerited or unconditional love that they share with us, you know, like Roger Strelo, Moon, and all those gentlemen.
Everybody.
And we experienced the same thing. I mean, I was a Christian before Kairos, but then when I experienced Kairos, it was like, this is the love of God, like, you know,
For
in
real.
living color.
Yeah, this is for real.
This is for real.
Yeah.
This is for real. So, Richard, we have in the audience, obviously, gentlemen that are residents right now that are incarcerated. How can you encourage them to get involved in programs? And why?
The only thing that you have to think about is if you want to let the time do you or you want to do the time. And if you get into a program, then you're just cruising through your sentence. No matter what, he's going to make a way for you. He's going to show you. You're going to lay in bed at night and you're going to ask. You're not going to hear him talking to you, but he's going to let you know what you got to do, you know, to make it possible to happen. And to make sure that it happens the right way. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know, I see these guys, you know, these people that they just they can't wait to get out and do the same thing again. And I used to scoop them up. I used to catch these kids, you know, gang kids and everything. And I'd say to them, man, what are you, crazy? You know, one day your mother's going to come home and you're going to be in a box. They're going to get you no matter what. That's crazy stuff. And don't get me wrong. I was highly respected in the DOC by all the gangs. They all liked me because they knew if one of their brothers had a problem, they'd throw the curve at me with the guy, you know, or whoever it might be, and I would sit down and talk to him, you know, and, you know, on a one-on-one, you know, just, you know, and I didn't even know that I was doing that kind of stuff for people. I had no idea. You know, it was just like a natural thing to me.
I was just going to ask you that, and that was my question, actually. Were you involved in mentoring, and how did that impact you? And did you, in fact, have any mentors?
You know, you got to remember something. You know, when I had the classroom, and the kids would say to me, "Hey, I wrote my mother," I'd say, "No kidding." You know, here's a kid that's 30-something years old, that's never talked to his mother, only on the phone, and now he's writing her. You know, the mother had to break down in tears when she got a letter, you know, explaining to him, "Oh yeah, this guy, this tiny dude from Brooklyn, blah, 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 he talks weird and everything, and he explains everything to us a little strange, but you look at the paper, Mom. He taught us how to do this right here, you know." And like 6 or 7 guys got GEDs out of my class from starting in my class, you know, and that was big as far as I was concerned. And as far as I was concerned, if I saved one person, that's all I needed.
You're on that bus ride, and we have discussed that we shared almost the same feeling of suicidal thoughts. Actually, not just suicidal, but just throwing in the towel, giving up. You know.
Well, you know, we didn't know what to expect when we stepped off the bus.
Exactly.
You know, we didn't know if the people were going to try to jump on it, trying to get in our pants, try to make us a boy, or, you know, I mean, I went through all of that stuff. But, you know, I know how to carry myself. So, you know, I'm a street person, so I didn't have any problem with that. But I was, one of my friends in the dormitory said to me, "Hey, there's this thing going on. You sign up, man. They got good groceries for the weekend." I said, "Yeah, good food?" I said, "Yeah, that sounds good."
So this is the Kairos?
Yeah, this is the Chiros. This is about a couple of months after I'm in there, you know?
And this is at Martin Correctional?
No, I didn't stay at Martin very long.
Oh, okay.
I tried to get out of Martin as fast as possible because I knew that there was opportunities for me in Belgrade where I could at least get ahead of, because Martin was like dead time. It was
Right.
bad. It was, it was like,
They had no vocationals
no,
over there.
you had to walk around with your, with your eye looking around all the
yeah.
time. You couldn't even go in the canteen and get a soda
Yeah.
without a guy trying to stick you in the line. You know what I mean?
Right.
But when I got to Belgrade and my next door neighbor, I was in an open baby dorm, and he told me, he said, yeah, man, this is Chiros, man. They got all kinds of good food, man. Chicken and all this stuff and blah, 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 lasagna and all this. I said, man, get out of here. He said, yeah, man, all you got to do is sign up. So.
And that was the bait, and we didn't even know.
No, that was the bait.
That was the bait.
And I signed up, and the funny part was they called me. And the guy next to me signed up like 20 times, and they didn't call him.
Yeah.
And I said to him, see, there's a reason for this.
Yeah.
There's all a reason for this stuff that's going on. But I wasn't into God, really into God yet. But then I started hanging. Then after the 4-day deal, I was like, hey, man, I got to get involved in the chapel. I got to start doing real good stuff for people. This is all. And you know what? It didn't click in my head. That it clicked in my head.
Mm-mm.
In other words, I didn't even know that it was there. I said, what am I trying to help this dude for? The guy's a dirtbag.
Mm.
I should bust his head open. Never mind, the guy did this, he did that, he did this and that to the guys right in the dormitory. I should hit him with a wrench in the head, you know what I mean? Instead of giving him my time, to try to straighten him out so he don't do it again.
See, unconsciously, you're actually doing what the gospel asks of, is you're sharing that unmerited favor that God showed you, and he's showing you, right, as you're listening. God is showing you unmerited favor, and what we receive from God, we would like you to share that to others. That's the way the kingdom works. That's the kingdom mentality, and you're doing it unconsciously.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So even though you still had this criminal mind, but at the same time,
I'm making adjustments.
You're making adjustments.
Yeah.
You're making adjustments.
That reminds me of the bait and switch. When you go in for something and you get something else. And I'll be a witness that I went into Chiros as a believer, but going in for the food.
Of course.
But got so much more. You mentioned you started mentoring. Was Chiros, that moment, a part of that, or your relationship with God a part of that? How did that transition to you mentoring?
Put it this way, God was working in my life, and I didn't even know it. He was actually moving buildings out of my way. He was, they talk about moving a mountain. Well, it's all a true deal. You know what I mean? In other words, I started acting like one of his disciples. You know what I mean? And I didn't even know I was doing it. Because people used to say to me, how can you sit down and talk to that kid like that? You know what I mean? You don't even know the dude. And then the kid all of a sudden he goes from to.
Correct.
You know what I mean? To going the right way. And people say, send him over there to talk to DeLisi. Go see Uncle Richie. He'll talk to him. He'll try to help him out. You know what I mean? And still today, I'm not aware of it. I'm not aware of what I'm doing here right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like on the way here, I was saying to my friend in the car on the way up, how does this actually stuff keep happening? Somebody's in charge of this deal.
Yeah, God opens the avenues for you to walk in. As long as you continue to acknowledge him, he will open them doors and prepare you. Now, in your time of
Now, can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
Because this is for you people. I'm here. We're here. We're free people. If you want to get free, you have to do something to better yourself. You can't do the same thing that you've been doing that you never got away with anyway. You weren't good at it, obviously. Obviously, I was good at what I did. I at least went a long ways before I got in trouble. Most of the people that are in the DLC do something one time and they get burnt for the rest of their life because they don't think about what they're doing. And then they come in the DOC and they do the same thing. So this message isn't for anybody out here. It's for you people in there, you men and women that need help. And if anything that I do helped you today, I'm blessed. Whether I get blessed or not, I'm blessed. Period.
Yeah. And I have this saying, we're blessed so that we can be a blessing.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, question. Now, God has prepared you for certain things while you're incarcerated. God comes into your life. And then obviously, incarceration ain't easy. However, in your case, I know you had some tragic moments with your family. I know there's some listeners. I lost my dad while I was incarcerated, and that was kind of tough. But explain how, the tragic moments that you've had, because we see the glory now. You're out, but we don't know the story. Share that.
The first tragic thing that happened to me, I was in there. It was a nice sunny day, and I was walking around the compound. They called count. I went back inside, and it was 12 o'clock. And at 12 o'clock, the chaplain called the dormitory. And I went to the chaplain during count, not even with an officer. They just said, send DeLisi to the chapel right now, to find out that my wife died. After that, it was like back to the same thing. My mind was like, why even go on with this crap? This is, and then when you think about it and then 3 months to the day on her birthday at the same exact time, my kid killed himself, my boy. So now my youngest is dead and I'm still alive. I don't want to be here no more. So now that whole thing from the bus ride in the beginning is all coming back on me again. And I'm saying, well, God, how could you let all this stuff happen to me? How could you let this stuff happen to me now when I'm trying to do the right thing and I'm staying out of trouble? I'm not selling no drugs in here no more. I'm not doing none of that crazy stuff. I'm just moving along the way you want me to be, righteous. For me to go through that and be here talking to you is an amazing thing in itself.
Now, when you said you went through it, but I got a feeling that you look for some help in either the programs or the volunteers or the chaplain. At that time, it wasn't Chaplain Torrance, or was it Chaplain Ramsey?
No, it was Chaplain Torrance.
It was Chaplain Torrance.
He helped me.
What year was that? About
And
2000?
Roger, that was in the. I got to Belgrade in 1991.
Okay.
And I stayed in Belgrade for a few years till that escape underneath the thing and all that happened.
Okay. Did you turn to volunteers or to your brothers in Christ at the facility?
Oh yeah, for sure. Roger, and
Roger Strelo.
And I forgot the guy that used to come out there with him.
Charles.
No, another guy used to come there with him.
But the thing is, you dependent. You opened up with these guys and they helped.
Of course, they didn't just show me agape love; they showed me real love, bro. Yeah. Like I'm talking about brotherly love.
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask you, because I know that there are men and women who are listening. I've gone through tragedy while I was there. I lost my grandmother, and it's the how. Because everybody says, well, I made it through and God brought me through it, but it's the how. Were there any strategic steps that they gave you, whether it was pray, read your Bible? Did they give you anything that you can say to the men and women that are listening that may have gone through or are going through a similar tough time?
Yes, they definitely tried to help the best way they could. They would tell me about certain scriptures to run through, and if you don't understand it, get a study Bible and read through the study Bible and see if you could understand what was actually happening with what they were saying to you about the situation that was going on. I found that it actually worked. It actually worked, and then but I always had the chapel to fall back on every day. Every day when I got up, the thing was I took a shower, blah, blah, blah. I got dressed, combed my hair, brushed my teeth, off to the chapel. I was there all day. I'd stay there during count and everything at Belgrade. You couldn't do that at South Bay, but at Belgrade, Chaplain Torrance would say, yeah, just sit there, go hang out. We got you. We'll put you on the out count. Take care of birthday cards or something. He'd always have something for me to take care of over there at the chapel.
Now, that situation with first your wife, then your son, it doesn't stop there, does it?
No. And then I lost my daughter of natural cause, and then my mother, and then my father, and a couple of my good friends. And when 9/11, when the buildings fell, I lost, I don't know, a lot of my good friends that I grew up with. Guys that survived from Vietnam, and forget it. They could come back to that crazy stuff,
I believe that those are the situations that make incarceration hard.
They're the ones that break you or make you. In other words, you're going to make it as a Christian, or you're going to look for Satan to take over your life. And if that's what you do, that's your thing, man, and it wasn't mine. I needed something to make me feel where I was meaningful in life, that I had a purpose. I had a special purpose.
You had a hope.
Yeah,
You had hope.
I had a special purpose.
Right. And, not to get biblical, this is not the gospel hour, but the Bible does say a man without hope or without vision perishes.
Yeah.
So in that time, your vision is, okay, when I get out, because a lot of people, and this is something, just don't focus when you get out, focus on staying out.
Yeah.
And so, but with that said,
And you have to start that
right,
while you're sitting where you're sitting right now,
correct.
listening to what we're telling you. That's where it's got to start. And then it ends on the outside.
Did you see, obviously, and a lot of times, I usually like to use this scenario in count time. When you're on your bunk, you have this time just to meditate, just to visualize. Did you see yourself when you got out the first day, what you would do, what you would eat, or have you played that over, have you?
Mine was a surprise to get out. I had no idea I was getting out.
Because your original sentence, and let's talk that
I
again.
was still going to be, no matter what, I had to do another, I think, 9 or 10 months to get out.
Okay.
Because I was getting the 20 days a month, every month.
Yeah, 65, right? 65.
So what happened was there was so much attention brought from the organizations, these two organizations that I'll mention in the last part of this deal. They got so much pressure on the DOC that someone told somebody in the DOC that I was raising too many eyebrows. Get him out. No matter what, make up something. You were in prison. When you get 20 days a month, you know exactly the hour you're going home.
Yeah.
It's not like you're going in 27 days and 36 hours and 26 minutes. That's when you're going home. People actually counted like that. I didn't. I used to count the month. Boom, boom, month. But
when you say raising eyebrows, they were concerned about the positivity that was going on?
What they were doing was they couldn't believe that this guy that's in prison was in prison anymore for what he was in there for. This is ridiculous. This guy didn't have no pot on him. He was in Broward.
It was a conspiracy, an alleged 100 pounds or something.
It was actually 1,500.
Okay.
But it was 1,500 that was, in the property room in Polk County Jail. That's what they used to convict me.
So, Richard, as I understand it, there are two organizations that are involved in helping, which are?
One was my son and my nephew. They started Freedelecicom. I don't know, maybe 15 years ago.
Okay.
20 years ago. That brought so much attention on the internet and everything that the Last Prisoners Project found out about me. And once they started putting pressure on, when they called me, I thought this is some kind of a joke. You know what I mean? I didn't really think that it was anything. And when I spoke to my son, and my son said, "Oh, no, it's no joke, Pop. These people are going to try their best to get you out." Now, I was talking to my attorneys, which was the Last Prisoners Project. My Freedelecicom people were talking to them, and they were seeing what was what was actually happening, because it was like they were together, they were two people that, two organizations that wanted to make sure that something happened.
And these organizations still exist, obviously.
Obviously.
And they are helping
Oh,
others?
yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And my main thing is to make sure that I can't speak up for the people that are in there for violent charges or any other kind of charge. I'm talking about the people that are involved in the thing that I thought was righteous. All the people, there's 4,600 people still in there for nonviolent marijuana charges, which shouldn't be in prison because you can go into a store now and buy the same stuff.
And that they got convicted of.
Yeah, and you got to pay cash for it too, just like you had to buy.
And taxes.
Yeah, and right. But what they do is you can't take a credit card out and pay for it.
Mm.
You got to have cash, just like it was when you smuggled.
Mm.
There was no credit cards. You got to have cash to buy that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I went to prison for 32 years for that. Pretty crazy.
And question, and we're almost about to close, and after 32 years of incarceration, have you been to a Walmart yet?
Yes.
What was that reaction? How was that?
Put it this way, I go with my son. Now, my son came from Europe with his family. You know the whole deal. When I got out, there were 65 people there and all kinds of TV forget about it. It was great. It was in front of the prison was completely insane, right?
Okay.
I get out and I'm not even thinking about, I want to go get something to eat. I didn't eat no breakfast. I knew not to eat, right? And when I went to eat, my roommate, Sean Bass, said to me, well, you going to eat breakfast this morning? I said, yeah, man, I'm going to eat everything. He said, get out of here. I said, man, get them eggs and stuff. I ain't gonna eat nothing today. And I looked forward to going to this club, this place that I used to go eat all the time. But it was terrible. We went there and it was no good no more.
Trying to adapt.
When I went into the the Walmart, right? I go into Walmart with my son, and I'm like, give me 2 of them. I want 3 of those, 2 of these. I don't even realize the price of stuff.
Yeah.
I got no idea. When I walked out of the prison, a couple of people handed me envelopes. I didn't know what was in the envelopes till I got to where I was going and opened it up. I was like, whoa. I got a pocket full. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did real good the day I got out. And, I had nice cash in my pocket. But when I went in the store and I'm buying all this stuff, my kid's loading it in. He don't care. Whatever you want, Dad. Get 5 of them if you want. I'm ordering all this stuff. The refrigerator, in 2 days of me being home, was so stuffed. The cabinets, he rented this house. We filled the refrigerator and the freezer and, Briar's ice cream. And I'm diabetic. I can't be eating none of this stuff, you know what I mean?
But with that said, I heard in another segment how you were on the porch in the middle of the night, just looking at the stars. This is the type of stuff that if anybody normal who hasn't been incarcerated will say, like,
yeah,
what's the big deal?
Yeah, I did that yesterday too. Well, I didn't do that in 32 years. So, and I do it every day.
Yeah.
It's real nice. The back of the house is on a big lake. Like I'll get up at 6:30 in the morning. I'll go out there, a couple of baths real quick, take them off, throw them back in, go back inside, make breakfast.
You done all that?
Yeah, I've been doing all this. Every day I do this.
I mean, you just got out of December 8th.
Yeah. But I still go fishing, probably like 3 or 4 times a week.
Okay.
I haven't been out in the salt water yet, but it's coming real soon.
Now understand what I'm trying to do with this picture here. Because we got the audience, and what I'm trying to do is I'm not trying to tease them. What I want to do is implant vision in you, that you could be this gentleman, Richard DeLisi, who survived 32 years in prison and is now fishing for bass. And so this is the type of stuff that vision can encourage you. Because without vision, without hope, I mean, with me, my visions and my hope is what actually pulled me through the next day and the next day
and the one after
one after that, until finally it becomes a reality. So, Mr. DeLisi, once again, it's been an honor. It's been an honor to have you on our panel as a guest. And to be honest with you, your family.
And
Yes.
I want to say this to you.
And it's very pleasurable being here. And I thank God for this show today.
Amen.
Really.
You were sitting here and almost a tear welled up in your eyes because you were like, I don't know what is this? What am I doing? What has God got me doing? And we had a guest on the other day, Mr. Dave Ferguson. He said something to us about when you see something in someone, tell them, I see in you.
Yes.
I see in you someone that's going to be continuing to share their story, that's going to continue to bring men and women to Christ like you're doing today. I see that in you.
Amen.
And I just met you, but I see the anointing of God on your life. And I just wanted to share that with you.
Thank you.
And the encouragement is Richard didn't wait until he came home to start doing that. He started having those conversations with men and women like you on the inside. There's always an opportunity to give back. There's always an opportunity to put your hand on a brother or a sister's shoulder. There's always an opportunity for you to speak into someone's life. There's seven men that can say that they have their GED now because of you. There's 7 men now that can say, I have my GED. I have something that I can take with me outside of these 4 walls and do something with it. That's what it's all about. I appreciate you for being here.
And the only way that can happen is if you open up your heart and do it. If you don't want to do it, just be righteous to your roommate or your next door neighbor or whatever. You don't have to grab a hold of God so quick. Just grab a hold of yourself and be righteous with yourself, where you're relaxed and you feel comfortable helping other people. Don't look to take. Look to give a little bit.
That's right.
And you'll get it back. You'll be blessed, just like I was blessed in the parking lot, and I've been blessed ever since I got home. And if these people that are listening to this program want help, it's right there. It's right next to you. All you have to do is ask. Find some Christian people. Find some people that even if they're not Christian, that they're just focused on the right things, and you'll have no problem. And you'll make a better person. And when you talk to your loved ones at home, they'll see a complete difference in you right away. And I mean, you can see that I got a tear on my face right here just from thinking about it.
With that said, I think I'm going to be bold enough. I haven't asked our panel yet, but I would like you to come back in another 6 months or 8 months and see how your life is going. How is, what God's got you doing. If that's all right, I think that'll be a good idea.
You don't have to wait that long.
No, but I want your life to evolve. I want to see, what God has for you in those 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
You've been listening to the Death or Prison podcast brought to you by leanonmeusa.org. I am Johnny Branham. To my right, Mr. Laz Lopez, and you have been listening to Richard DeLisi tell his story. He's got a phenomenal testimony. We've heard about his childhood. It started out in Brooklyn, New York, and how that led to a life where he was dealing in drugs, and then that eventually led to smuggling on boats and planes and getting caught and then coming back out and trying to reestablish his life and then going back. And then when he was in, being a mentor, being used. You do not want to miss it. And I do want to leave you with this. This is the Death or Prison podcast, but we say, choose life.
Lean on Me USA, in partnership with Alpha USA, wants to connect you to a welcoming church. To begin a new life, call 314-607-8850.
I can change the world. Feed one, teach one. One born